Hello and welcome to another episode of the Good Hearted Podcast. I have a really good episode in store for you today, but first, I just wanted to make an announcement or two. I don't remember if I have one or two, but I am changing what day the podcast episodes are being uploaded. So I'm going to change them to either Friday or Saturday. I haven't decided which would be better, but Monday uploads are just really, really hard for me to get. And so I'm hoping that if I do it towards the end of the week instead of the beginning, I'll be able to make more content to push out the episodes and things like that. So I just wanted to let you know if you're counting on a Monday upload, it's going to be changed to either Friday or Saturday. And again, I haven't quite figured out which is going to be best for me, but I'm hoping that way I can actually get my YouTube videos up in time and all of that good stuff. So, anyway, I guess that's really the only announcement I had. But if you are not following me on Instagram yet, please head over there and follow me. I'm really going to try to change what I'm doing on Instagram, and hopefully it will be beneficial for you. So, I have some things in mind to actually work on and execute, but hopefully in the next month or so, I will get those things going and they will be beneficial for you, kind of like bonus little mini-sodes, if you will. So stay tuned to figure out what that looks like because I don't really know what it looks like yet. Okay, so let's dig into today's topic. I have felt really inspired the last couple weeks by just changing up some things around my home, and I thought maybe I could share some tips with you to do the same. So I don't know about you, but every time I take down all of my Christmas decorations, my house feels so empty and sad and boring because I did have all of these, pretty sparkly things that all went really well together and just were Christmassy. Like Christmas decorations just make me happy. And so then when I took everything off my shelves and fireplace and all of that, I was like, oh, like I don't even remember where my old stuff went. And it seems bare. Like there's not enough there. It just looks boring and sad, like I said. So I'm not the kind of person who wants to leave my Christmas decorations up until like March. So instead, I just thought, how can I freshen up my rooms and make them feel a little bit better without spending a lot of money? So, like I mentioned a few episodes ago, we just got done redoing our kitchen. We kind of took advantage of being stuck at home to do a whole little makeover. And I don't think we even spent $400. Like, I really need to figure out exactly what the cost was, but it was really affordable for us. Now, this is not our dream kitchen. This is a placeholder until one day we get to build our dream kitchen if we ever get to. But honestly, even if we didn't get to, I would be happy with this kitchen how it is now for quite a while. Mainly, our kitchen is a little tiny galley kitchen, so that's why I would like to have a dream kitchen one day where we can spread it out. Not bumping booties when we're trying to cook or do dishes. But I really made the space feel like ours. I freshened it up and I, did some fresh coats of paint and did some projects that I had never done before. That was a little scary, but I felt so much better after I tackled that project. And so then I was just ready to move on to the rest of the house. But I don't want to make over every single room and spend a whole bunch of money making it a whole new space. But basically, with doing the kitchen, I just felt this momentum to keep working on the other areas in my house that I don't love. So basically, what I'm doing is rearranging things. Even for my backdrop for right now, even my new backdrop, I was kind of tired of the old one, and I think it's probably good every year to freshen it up anyway, or every 6 months, something like that. And so I went on Pinterest. That's always the first thing I do. I went on Pinterest, I made a new little board, and I just started pinning things that matched the vibe I wanted to go for. So for me, my style is definitely a little more boho than really anything else. I like to have a warm and cozy home. I like warmer tones. Where a long time ago in our old house, I liked cool tones. Everything was blue and gray and like a cool gray at that. And now in this house, I have peaches and corals and mustard yellow and burnt orange and green. Most of my walls are green or a warmer gray. And so I just wanted to kind of go along that and take that into account when I was building my backdrop for my YouTube videos. And so I literally just went around the house and gathered up things that would look nice together. So I pulled things from the kitchen and my living room and Harper's room and my bedroom and our bathroom. And I was able to curate this little space. And it took some trial and error. Some things I was like, oh, that really does not work. So then I went and put it back where it belonged. But I also just have like a crate of random decorations that I don't want to part with, but I couldn't really find a home for them at the moment. So faux plants or, you know, decorative gold things or black things. And because my taste kind of changes. Before in this room, I had lots of black frames. And so I decided to go more with gold because I still had a lot of gold things. Um, so anyway, I looked at my Pinterest board, kind of narrowed down what I wanted this space to look like. And then, like I said, I just went around the house and grabbed some things to make it feel fresh and new. And I didn't spend anything. I'm looking behind me. I bought the fairy lights that are up on my little bookcase or picture ledge right there. That is the only thing I bought for this space. Everything else was just found from around the house. And so I'm also working on that with my living room because right now that all the Christmas stuff is out, the Christmas tree is gone. It just feels so empty and lifeless. And so, actually, I think later today, I'm going to work on kind of picking some things from around the house and just moving things around, seeing if I like it better. Because yesterday I was pinning some things on Pinterest for my living room, and that space is obviously a bigger space. And there might be some things that I want to buy, but I want to take as many things from around the house that I can and put them in that room and see if that kind of makes me feel better when I'm in it, if it makes it feel warmer and cozier. And then I can kind of pick and choose things that will fit into the space instead of going out and trying to spend $500 at Target to make a whole room. Because that's the hard thing for me is when I go into Target or Ikea and I'm like, oh my God, I love this space. I want this space in my home. But then I only buy one thing from that, setup that they had, or maybe two things. And then I bring them home and I'm like, oh, this is not giving me the same effect I had when I walked into that space in the store, which is obviously the point. They want you to buy all of the items to make your space feel like that space. But that's not always possible, or maybe you just don't want to spend that much money. So instead, I would just see what you have around the house. How can you make those things work together? And then you can always purchase a couple extra things that would finish off the space. So for me right now, I'm looking for some like little plant stands or end tables or something to put next to the fireplace that's in our living room, just to add a little bit more because it's like this big white wall and it just feels kind of empty, which now I have my hammock chair hanging in that wall and well, in the ceiling, like on that side of the wall. Anyway, and then also Dylan made me a blanket ladder to display all of the blankets that I've crocheted. And so it's starting to fill up a little bit. I don't want it to look cluttered. I don't want it to look overwhelming, but it was just this big white wall. And I finally put frames up on the wall. I don't even have pictures in all of the frames yet, but it's a process. You can do a little bit at a time and build a home that you really love instead of feeling like you have to do it all at once. If you have the budget and the time and the patience to go out and hunt for everything, get it all done in the weekend, that is amazing and you absolutely should do that. But if you're like me and you want to be a little more thrifty and not, dump hundreds into a living room update, hopefully this is a direction that you can take instead. So for me, I've been scouring Facebook Marketplace and then also going to thrift stores and checking out clearance sections, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, to find those other pieces that will complement my spaces really well. And back in my early 20s, I went to thrift shops all the time. I was like constantly at Goodwill or our other thrift shops, and I kind of got away from that. And I think it's because I felt like I was wasting so much time hunting for things. And I kind of got burnt out with like not finding what I was looking for and then being disappointed and feeling like I had wasted so much time. And so last week I took some time and I set it aside to go thrifting. And like if I didn't find anything, that was fine. But it was just going to be a way for me to get out of the house and do some exploring, do some hunting because I haven't done something like that in so long. And I took a couple hours to do it, but it was a blast. And I won't be doing that every single week, even though I'm kind of itching to go back out. But I feel like it's something I can do a couple times a year, maybe once a month, just to find those hidden gems that will really help make my space feel complete and just make me happy and bring me joy. And that doesn't mean I'm constantly buying like things that I don't need from the thrift shop, but being okay with going out and not finding what I was looking for and just enjoying the whole experience. And so that's kind of the same with Facebook Marketplace. I spend a lot of time scrolling on it, but if I'm looking for something really specific and something that I really want, I don't feel like that is a waste of time. And plus, I would just be watching TikTok if I wasn't scrolling on Facebook Marketplace. Let's be honest. So, there are lots of ways to freshen up your space without spending a ton of money. So, as you're going through your rooms and freshening up your space and kind of pulling things from one room into another room, this is also a great time to declutter. I don't know about you, but after the holidays, I always feel very overwhelmed with my house. I feel like I have so many new things to find homes for that don't have homes. And so I get a little anxious about it and I just feel the need to purge. Now, I'm not saying this is a great time to do a full purge because I also am like not in the mood to do that. But just as you're going, if you find something that's broken or something that doesn't really fit your style anymore, you can easily donate those things or even sell them on Facebook Marketplace and make a little bit of money so that you can put it towards your, freshening up your space a little bit. You can even try making some things yourself. So once you've kind of rearranged your rooms, you've decluttered some, and you're maybe going thrifting or you're going to Target to get this one thing that will complete your space. You can also try to make something yourself. I don't know if you're crafty. I wouldn't say I am crafty, but I am cheap, to be totally honest. And I would rather troubleshoot and try to make something myself than spend a couple $100s on something. So, for instance, I had some things around the house like planters and vases, flower vases, and things like that. And they were very plain and they honestly just sat either in the garage or in a in the cabinet under my sink in the kitchen because if we ever got fresh flowers, I would pop them in one of those. And then I was just, on YouTube as one does, and I was looking up DIY projects and, you can paint your vases that you have. Like why had that never occurred to me before? So I started spray painting some things and then painting some things by hand and I don't naturally do things like that, but it was actually really rewarding to see the finished product and to also just do something with my hands that was creative that had like no pressure. You know what I mean? I would love to make some wall art for our house at some point because giant wall art canvases are so freaking expensive. But I'm very scared to do that project. I'm very scared to ruin some cheap canvases that I bought. But ruining a dollar vase that I found at the thrift store was like no big deal if I ended up painting it and I didn't like it. So just get creative. See how you can freshen up the things that you do have around your house, just so that you can give those things new life and not just throw them away. You know what I mean? I'm a big proponent of trying to be more sustainable when I can be. I'm still not great at it, but just doing little things here and there can make a huge difference. So you can take a piece of art that's been in your home for years and paint it or do something different with it and give it a whole new look and not have spent much money on it, like maybe just your supplies. Um, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, so I'm sorry, but I am very passionate about rehoming things around your home. So I hope you will try doing that. For so long, this house has not felt like our home. We've lived here for 2.5 years now, and it's just now starting to feel like home, which is amazing. And I've basically just tried to cut myself some slack when it comes to my minimalist ways of thinking and my thoughts around being a homeowner. So I'm realizing that I can still be a minimalist in a lot of ways or minimalish in a lot of ways, and still be surrounded by things that genuinely make me happy. And I don't have to feel guilty for those things. I had so many empty walls in this house, and I still do. And I'm realizing by just putting a little bit of love and attention and something cute in those spaces that makes me happy can totally lift my mood instead of feeling like I'm just in a temporary home, if that makes sense. I know that people who rent places like want to be able to redo things so badly and remodel and paint and change the flooring, and they're not able to do that. And here I am owning a home, and I'm scared to do all of those things because I'm constantly thinking about reselling and, what if it makes it harder for us to sell our house if we do this or do that? And I'm just like, screw it. I'm trying to be done worrying about that, because even if we do ever leave this house, it's probably a couple years from now, and I don't want to live every day thinking about the next house that we're going to live in, or thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to put the love and attention into this house that it needs because we're just going to be here temporarily." I want to love this space and love it fully and have it serve me in lots of really good ways. And I know I'm kind of talking about my house like it's a person. But honestly, like, I spend so much time here, and I'm sure you spend a lot of time at your home too, especially with everything going on with the pandemic. And so I think we deserve to have homes that make us feel welcomed and comfortable, not just guests that come over. And when it is time to sell your house, you can undo or redo things to make it sell easier. But for me, when I was redoing our kitchen, I really did not want to redo the backsplash. I wanted to just paint it, and I thought about just painting it white because it already was white, except it had years of wear on it. And instead, like, I was really feeling pulled to do a pop of color because, again, my house was like mostly gray, hardly any color in it. And I went back and forth talking to Dylan about it and the pros and cons of it. And he's really the one who talked me into doing it. And I love it. I think it's so cute. It's not going to be everybody's style, but it's our style. Like, it's something that we really enjoy and really love looking at. And I've just never let myself have fun with our house. Everything has been like, thinking about the future, thinking about reselling, thinking about what's going to make it more appealing to new home buyers. And, I'm over it. And so I hope that maybe that will give you a nudge to do something in your house that might not make sense to anybody but you. But if it's what makes you happy, you should absolutely do it. And if it doesn't work out, you can change it again. Like, we just need to put less pressure on ourselves to have a Pinterest worthy home. Like, who cares? Who cares what my bedroom looks like? Because guess what? Nobody else is really going to see it. Like, every once in a while, somebody might see it, but for the most part, no, it is a space for me and my husband, and it should be a space that we love and that we love spending time in. And so, anyway, that's just my soapbox about not giving a shit about what other people think of your house. And it's an epiphany that I just had like a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. And it's just really changed my outlet on how to tackle my house. And it already feels so much better and more freeing to know that I don't have that pressure of thinking about a future home buyer. So anyway, that's why we put a damn hammock chair in our ceiling. I never would have thought Dylan would let me do something like that, or like be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking holes in the ceiling with a chair dangling from it. Like, who would allow that to happen? It makes way more sense to have like a metal stand and, do it the right way. But I really like the idea of just having it in the ceiling, and now it's in the ceiling, and it is amazing. It is my favorite thing. I am so thrilled that I have that in my living room now. I love it. Harper loves it. Dylan loves it. It's amazing. And so now we're tackling our big, giant, ugly fireplace. I will have to post a picture of it somewhere, but it was just like all this excessive brick. It's in a really weird spot in the house. And I just kind of dreamed up having a little reading nook on either side of the fireplace and leaving the brick there and building, the bench and the backing of it like onto the brick, which you would just have to see it. It took me many months of talking it through to Dylan for him to like really understand my vision for this space. And now we're doing that project. Like neither of us could wait to get started. And again, like when I first brought this idea to Dylan, he was like, no, just no. Way too much work. I don't even understand what you're saying. But then like the more we got to talking about it and thinking about it and figuring it out, the more we're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to have this space. This is wasted space in our house, a spot that we never ever use. Like our chimney is messed up. And so we can't even light a fire in the fireplace. And so who cares if the next homeowner is like, oh my God, why did they do this? Why did they cover this brick up? Who cares? We're not using that space anyway. We both get annoyed looking at the space and feeling like we're wasting money by heating that area of our house, which is stupid. But seriously, we have so much living space that we had not really been using to its biggest potential. And now we are trying to do that, even if it seems unconventional or doesn't make sense to anybody else. So, anyway, I have rambled a lot in this episode, and so I'm sorry, but these are just my thoughts. And I feel so much better after I've come to terms with some of these things that I've mentioned. And so I hope that it motivates and inspires you to not give a shit what anybody else thinks about your space and to make it your own, even if it does not make sense to anybody else. Who cares? As long as you like it, that is all that matters. So I hope that so now you are free to go around your house and totally redo everything. Move furniture around, move decoration pieces around. Just try different things. Reorganize your kitchen cabinets. Like just find what's not working for you and what you don't love and just spend a couple hours working on it, playing with it. See if you can make it a more enjoyable space for yourself. I hope that this year we all learn to care a little bit less about what everybody else thinks and care way more about what we think, what we feel, and what makes us happy and working more towards that. Because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a home that feels like home. And that should not be a crazy concept. But I have come home so many times and felt out of place in my own home or felt like it reflected a different version of myself, a better version of myself versus the actual, comfy, cozy kind of person that I am. Instead, it was way nicer and decorated prettier. And, you know, I was just surrounded by things that didn't feel like me. And life is too short for shit like that. So I hope you will forget all of those things and continue to make your house a home that you love. Like I said, Pinterest is like the best tool for me when it comes to redecorating and figuring things out in my home. So I hope that these tips help you. I know it was a lot of rambling, so I hope some of it made sense. I'm a little out of practice because I've taken a couple weeks off of recording. So thank you for being patient with me as I navigate this new year and trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life. Also, I was trying to cuss less because my kid repeats everything now, and then the last half or quarter of this episode has just been off the wall. So I do apologize, but hopefully you don't get offended by things like that, because if so, this might not be the podcast for you, and I am sorry. But anyway, I am so thankful for you watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.